Hello, Abnormal Investigations. Good to see everybody. Man, this channel is really growing. I did not expect it to be taken off the way it's taken off, which is a blessing because we're going to do a lot of things with what we're gaining right now. It's going to help us get a lot more things accomplished and do a lot more things that are going to be very beneficial for us, anyways. I did just confirm that the 20th we're going to have Amanda Stowers back on the show, guys. It's going to be an amazing live. She'll be on with us live. It's going to be on the 20th of March. I'll be getting that out. And I got a lot of other ones pending we'll be putting out. We got a lot of guests coming on, and hopefully boots on the ground really soon. I know a lot of y'all are looking forward to boots on the ground. And if you don't mind, our likes are down a little bit. Smash that like button for us, guys. It means a lot. And share us out on your social media. Put us out on your Facebook. Help us grow, and it also helps the algorithm when it's shared. Alright, guys, let's get into this encounter. This has been happening for a while now. When it first started, I would get the feeling something was watching me when I was alone. I've always been the adventurous type and would regularly go out and explore the woods around my home. We live in a small rural town in Missouri. I never had a problem with seeing unexplainable things when I was younger. When things first started, I was 14, going through the woods trying to find a place to build a small log cabin. As I was searching, I started getting goosebumps, and the hair on my arms seemed to stand up. I ignored it, and I kept looking. Later that day, I had gotten the feeling something was watching me. Living in such an isolated place, we have things like wild pigs, bears, and mountain lions, but there were no signs of any of those were even near me. I started to worry a bit, and decided to turn around and continue my search the next day. As I was walking back home, the feeling never left. I thought maybe it was just paranoia, and there was nothing there, so I stopped moving to listen for footsteps. At first, I could hear the sound of the wind moving through the trees and the branches, but after that had stopped, I heard nothing. Remembering from a book I had read that when you can't hear any animals around, there's a predator nearby. I knew I wasn't the predator, and the animals by my house and around my house are not usually mean at all. Realizing there was a bigger threat nearby, I started running back to my house until I had reached the house. The feeling of being watched was there, but the moment I stepped foot in the door, it left. Things like that continued happening for a while, so I got used to it, but never, ever since about a month ago, things have changed. My first new encounter was after it had after it had snowed is what she meant to say. I live in the second story of our house, with a window viewing the neighboring field and the woods. I was sick at the time, so I had been in my room all day. Wanting some fresh air, I opened my window. As soon as I opened the window, I felt watched, as usual. But this time, it was different. It never happened while I was inside my house, nor did it ever feel this strong. Worried, I started scanning the tree line of the woods, which is about a football field away. But I have vision problems and my glasses have been broken, so the day before, they had been stepped on. I've never been one for contacts, as they take time for me to get in and out and irritate my eyes. So wanting to see the tree line better, I went and grabbed a pair of binoculars. My pawpaw was a soldier in World War II, and the binoculars were the one things he had brought back. Whether he was allowed to or not, they were left to me, and they meant the world. Knowing they would be good enough to see well into the distance, I took them up to my room. While I was grabbing them, I never got the feeling I was being watched, but when I stepped back into my room, the feeling was back. I grabbed my chair and I set it up in front of the window, scanning the tree line for anything. Eventually, I came to a stop seeing something. It was a black mass that looked to be about 6.5 to 7 foot tall, peeking around a tree. I stared at it for a few minutes, seeing if it would move or if it was just my mind playing tricks on me. I turned to cough, and when I looked back, it was looking around the other side of the tree. Knowing it was staring at my house, or worse, at me, I ran downstairs and grabbed my mom and brought her upstairs to show her. When she had gotten back to my room, it was gone. My mom has always been one to believe in the supernatural, so she didn't think it was crazy for seeing this. She told me to come and get her if I ever seen it again. A week later, nothing happened, and I thought maybe it was just my vision blurring or a smudge on the lens at night. No longer worried about it, I was going to bed. I was just about to fall asleep when I heard that sounded like my uncle yell my name. I sprang up, turning my phone's flashlight on to see nothing in the room. Scared, I lay back down and tried to forget about it and go back to sleep. Around 5 minutes later, I'm close to falling asleep when I hear a blood-curdling scream come from outside my window. I quickly sat up, turned on the lights, closing my window. This time, I was not the only one to hear something. My sister ran into my room asking if I was okay. I told her it was not me. Not wanting to scare her as she's a lot younger than me, she told me to shut the heck up and go to bed. I closed my door and sat up awake in my room all night with the lights on. Morning came and I went about my day as usual. By the time that night came, I had almost forgotten about it. I laid down, locking my door as I didn't want to be woken up early the next day. About 15 minutes later, I started to fall asleep when I heard what sounded like my grandma outside my door asking me to let her in. I started praying to God, asking Him to help with what's happening, what all is going on within this past week. After the voice stopped, I eventually fell asleep as I was praying. I woke up at about 1:30 p.m. the next day, not bringing up what had happened the past 2 nights to my family. When I was about to go to bed that night, I decided to try an experiment. As the first night the voice happened, my door was cracked open, and the next it was shut and locked. I opened my door all the way before laying down. When I lay down, though, I heard tapping on my window. Ignoring it, I went to bed, waking up the next day to take a shower. But when I was about to get in the shower, I noticed markings on my body that I have never noticed before. That day I looked up at what happened to me the past few days and came to the conclusion what's been bothering me. It's a mimic. For those of you who don't know, mimics are creatures that can take the voices of people familiar to you, and they can use them. These creatures, again, gain strength from your fear and by you responding to them. With it growing stronger, it can take from into your family and friends, but these forms are distorted. Finding this out, I went over to my friend's house, who lives about 10 minutes away. Getting there, I told him about the things that had happened to me and what I think it may be. It took some convincing for him to believe me, but he eventually did. He's a very spiritual guy and offered to pray with me for me. I agreed and took his hand, and we prayed. I felt a force trying to pull our hands apart. He had felt it as well. So we went to my house, and he agreed to go to my house to pray also. He said he felt that it needed to be done there. So we prayed in my bedroom, and whenever we did, I felt a sense of ease. And to this day, it has not returned. But sometimes I catch a glimpse of something out in the woods. But I keep my prayers up, and I give it no place so that it has no strength to come back. Excuse me. Yes, I think what you're doing is very important. Do not give it place. Don't look for it. Don't give it a reason. Don't give it strength. And keep praying and keep up your armor. And you should be able to keep it gone. Bless your land, bless your property lines, bless your home, and bless your family. I think you're doing the right thing. And that is a very scary story to hear something saying your family's names, your name, and using, voices that are familiar to you. It makes you wonder, is this how the children are lured that come up missing? Because it sounds like a familiar voice. Thank you for listening, guys. And until next time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and smash that like button and share us out.